Hi and welcome to another edition of Onside SA, where we'll be talking about last one standing. We're talking about the fixtures this week and what happened last night. Most annoying. Our international pundit Stevie B will be on the line with us, joining us in any second. He's in a freezing London. But let's quickly get on to these, down to 34. 34 down to 18 up.
Yeah, Paul, a lot of boys squeaked in late, especially the Leicester boys. There were 7 of them on. I thought they were gone.
Yeah, so did
I. I think one of the winners will come from one of the 7 that squeaked in there, especially because that was pure luck, Paul.
Yeah, you know that's right. Just looking, Leicester went through, Tottenham went through, and Liverpool went through. Yeah. Sure. Now, Budge, we've got the guys from week 6, and you always try and work out who's going to win it. And I'm just looking through the names here, Budge. There's the boss, Guillaume Nell.
Guillaume's got 2. Yeah, he was striding this morning,
PJ Powers has got 2.
Yeah, Powers, cruised the game.
Mark McManus.
Michael.
He's got a double cab.
Yeah, he's double cab.
He's got 2. Yeah. Then everyone else on 1.
Yeah, they got 1 each, yeah.
Okay, just Dylan Horn.
Yeah, Dylan's still the favourite. He's got Man City to use. That's Raymond's son.
Yeah.
So.
Raymond's son. Okay, yeah, lovely. He's doing well.
Yeah.
Mark Hartford.
Yeah, one of my
Emerson from Brazil.
Yeah, Emerson Virathia. Yep, he's hanging in.
John Biscoby, the ex-chairman,
John squeaked in the last 2 weeks, so done well so far, John.
Gary Citron without the E.
Without the E, yeah. We had 2 picks.
Steve Potter.
United. Yep, Stevie.
Stevie, our mate. Neville Soma.
Yeah, that's Joey's.
Joey's relative.
Yeah.
Oh, well done. Keep it going. Joey would like that prize. Lance Whiteford, he gets into a few close ones.
Yeah, he's the man who's stamping his authority on the postal games. He's got 5 post nets, Lance.
5 post nets. Well done to him. Anthony Sewer, always involved.
Yeah,
Ant's a player.
He was on Liverpool last week. 1 left. He'll be fighting.
Phineas Loca. I see Paddy's still going strong.
Paddy was on Leicester last week. Squeaked in.
Luke Bowman.
Yeah, it's Mark Bowman's son.
And cousin to Jose Mourinho, Manny Almeida.
Manny Almeida, yep. That's Dario's older brother.
Okay. 18 left this week. It looks very interesting. But let's talk to Steve. He'll tell us what's going on. Stevie, are you there?
Morning, Steve.
Morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Morning. Stevie, it's a little faint, guys. You can just put Stevie up a little louder, please. I know it's the cold weather there.
Cold weather.
That must be it. It's -1.5 when I left this morning.
Gee, -2.5 because I'm not there. But tell me the train strike. What's the story?
So there is a train strike on the suburban trains going into Waterloo. So sort of like every other train is cancelled, including my early one. So I've come a different route, but it just brings me in about half an hour later. But can't keep a good man down, as they say.
That's what I say. You can't drown a
Talking about keeping a good man down, Lionel Messi, the Ballon d'Or for the 6th time, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, do they even bother sort of thinking about giving it to anybody else, either him or Ronaldo? I mean, at some point in a few years when they retire, they'll have to. I think sort of Virgil van Dijk must have run him quite close, but you just wonder what somebody has to do to sort of beat either one of those two. He had a good season, but then at the end of the day, they didn't win the Champions League, and you'd think that might have been the rationale for giving it to Van Dijk, but anyway.
I was going to ask you, Steve. A little bit of a storm in the teacup with the comments made by Virgil van Dijk with Piers Morgan and Ronaldo's sister. Anything in your press?
Yeah, I mean, I think to be honest, with everything that's going on in the UK with Brexit and the election, it sort of got like about one line in on the back of the sports page. I think at the end of the day, it's much ado about nothing, really.
Shakespeare.
In fairness, Ronaldo shouldn't have been in the top 3. He had a terrible season last year.
Yeah, but I think exactly. They didn't win. I mean, they won the league, but I guess you just sort of find there are those people that are voting are just almost between 1, 2, and 3. 2 of them are going to Ronaldo and Messi in whatever particular order people decide. So for anyone to break into it, I think is quite hard. As I say, let's see what happens in the next year or two, because if Portugal don't win anything and if Juve don't win the Champions League, it would be hard to find a case for Ronaldo to be in the top 3.
Yeah. What about the team they picked? What's the world
Did you
team?
see the team, Steve?
I didn't actually. I think with everything that's going on with a double header in the Premier League this week, I've been trying to sort of catch up with my Premier League viewing.
Okay, I'll just read it to you. Ellison was the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
They had Marcelo, the left back from Real Madrid, who got dropped for 2 months last season, and he made it. They had Ramos, Van Dijk and De Ligt. Of the four, I think only De Ligt and Van Dijk were standouts. The other two is name alone. Middle of park, they had Modric, who got dropped as well many a time last year. Hazard was at Chelsea. He was non-existent for the big games last year. And I thought Frankie de Jong definitely deserved his place in the...
Frankie de Jong.
And the up front, Messi was no danger, but Mbappe and Ronaldo, they were both mediocre seasons.
Yeah.
And that's why
I'll be honest. Yeah, it's interesting you say that, but if you'd have asked me who do I think would have deserved it, the fact they've got all those Real Madrid players in there, I mean, is laughable, really, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, they just did nothing last season. So how they warranted that is just beggars belief, really, doesn't it?
And you look how Liverpool played. Salah and Mane, they were outstanding last year.
And Andy, and to be honest, how can they pick Marcelo ahead of someone like Andy Robertson?
Yeah, correct.
Had a fantastic season. So yeah, I think the trouble is it devalues it, doesn't it? If people are looking at that and thinking it's the same old thing without sort of being truly warranted, then I think it does devalue it.
Yeah, sorry, Stevie, I've always thought that these Ballon d'Ors and that, over the years, Europe have had the quality. Yeah. But just look at the Champions League final was 2 British teams.
Yeah. Europa League was 2.
Europa League was 2 British teams. These British teams and players have got to get more recognition. Now, I know there are a lot of international players there, but how many in that team play in the English league?
The 2 Liverpool boys. And I don't think Alisson was the best goalkeeper. For me, Ter Stegen was by far the best. He had 2 bad games last year when Liverpool beat them 4-0 at Anfield and they got beat 4-2 in the Spanish Cup by Valencia.
Yeah.
I watched them the other day when they beat Atletico Madrid. If it wasn't for him, they'd have been 3-0 down at half-time. I know they hit the bar, but he's been brilliant, that Ter Stegen, and no one says a word about him. Yeah,
it's hard to break, and it's always the same names, rubber stamped. But let's look at the Premiership results. Not that I want to linger on them.
Gloat on them, yeah.
We went Man City back to normal service, Steve.
Well, I mean, they needed to, because obviously having dropped points at sort of Newcastle in what was a fairly average performance, good going forward, but average at the back. They did what they do best, which is they took the game to Burnley, scored a couple of cracking goals, and thoroughly deserved it. But they still find themselves 11 points behind Liverpool. So they're just. They are just a little inconsistent, and with Liverpool just steamrolling everybody, City have really got to put a run together.
Yeah, Palace with 10 men, they got
Palace,
the money.
Yeah, Saka was sent
Palace did well. I mean, so we had a very strange situation. Amazon Prime won the bid and won the rights to show this week's Premiership games. So they showed them at slightly different times to normal. So we had games kicking off at 7:30 and other games kicking off at 8:15 UK time, which meant you could watch 3 halves of games. So you could watch the first half of one game and then the whole of the second game, whichever way you wanted to do it. So I was able to sort of catch some of that Palace game. And Bournemouth had never, even though they had the 10-man advantage, they never quite seemed to impose themselves. And Palace have had a very, very good week. I mean, sort of winning at Burnley and then winning again at home. They pulled themselves clear of the bottom and 7th place, only a couple of points off 5th. So, as I say, it's good to have the Premier League back, and 2 games in a week. It starts to make things a little clearer, but at the top and the bottom.
Wednesday's result?
Well, I watched the first half of the United game, and I thought for the first half an hour they were superb. And Marcus Rashford really just seemed to have the bit between his teeth. Unlucky not to score more. Tottenham got back in the game. Really good goal. I mean, Dele Alli just seems to be a new player, as Jose Mourinho's reported as saying to him when he met him, "Is this you or your brother?" He wants the old Dele Alli back, but I think he seems to have got him. But I think United raised their game, and the first half an hour was as good as I think they played this season. Yeah. So, I don't think there was any. I don't think you could probably complain about the result at the end of the day. But Liverpool, and I watched the Liverpool game, and the first half, I didn't think Everton played all that badly, but Liverpool were just absolutely clinical, which they haven't been for a lot of the season. But to score those 4 goals in the first half, it absolutely just destroyed them. And I think, however much they tried, Liverpool were just on the day, were just far too strong.
Yeah, Leicester squeaked in again, Steve.
What did you call the first penalty, Steve? What did you think of the first penalty call? It was a yellow call. What's your take?
it's interesting. I mean, they said yesterday was one of the VAR free, or sort of not the most VAR controversial sort of weeks. And Leicester, you look at their record though. I mean, they're having the most fantastic run. I mean, they're actually ahead of where they were when they won the league. Obviously, that season they didn't have a team like Liverpool who were walking away with it. But they now find themselves 12 points clear of fifth place. So they carry on like this. I mean, they're nailed on a Champions League place, and they're just doing. I didn't think they played all that well against Everton in the first half the other day, but they just have a belief that they just keep going. I mean, you look at their record this season. I mean, they scored 35 goals and only conceded 9. I mean, their defence, people thought losing Harry Maguire would make a huge difference. Well, their defence is the best in out of all 4 divisions. It's absolutely phenomenal. So, good luck to them. I think they're an exciting team to watch, and I think they've taken everybody by surprise.
Are they Liverpool's only danger?
No, I think City will still strong. I mean, you can never write City off because they are capable of putting a run together, injuries permitting. But I think if Liverpool slip up, and there's no reason why they should at the moment. I mean, they're bound to have the odd defeat or the odd draw, but Leicester and City have got to put a run and sort of win, say, 3 or 4 more games than Liverpool to catch them. But it's exciting and it's good to see. I think everyone was saying after Leicester won the league last time it couldn't happen again. A team the size of Leicester wouldn't break through, and here they are sitting in second place with 35 points. So I think they are exciting to watch.
Yeah. Steve, on to tonight. We've got a couple of games on. Sheffield United, Newcastle. How do you see that going?
Well, Sheffield United just keep surprising me. Yeah. I mean, they're the team that just keep on giving. They haven't lost away this season. Nice. I mean, at home, I guess where they've had to maybe take the initiative, they found it a bit tougher. But they've really, really surprised me. They've drawn the last 3, they've drawn 4 of the last 5 games, but they make themselves hard to beat. Newcastle have actually surprised me recently. I mean, they dug deep and didn't give in against Man City, and they had some semi-decent results. I think a lot of people are writing them off, but I think Steve Bruce is getting the best out of what I think is a very average squad. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up a draw. I think both teams.
And Freddie Ljungberg, you think Freddie will light up the Emirates tonight?
I'm not sure about lighting up, but I think you'd hope, if someone was an Arsenal fan, you'd expect to see some reaction when they have an opportunity at home against a footballing side. Brighton won't come there and sort of park the bus, which I guess is to their credit the way they played this year. I think Arsenal should win it, but I think the fans are going more in hope rather than expectation. But I think anything other than a home win to Arsenal will be disappointing for them. And I think Ljungberg has got an opportunity there, but he's been in the shadows for a while. He's got a good footballing brain evidently, and I think they'll probably give him an opportunity just to steady the ship. Yeah.
Do you think he's got a chance of getting it full time?
Well, I think like all these things, it's a bit like when they brought Ollie in last year. If he has the sort of run that Ollie had, then he might do. Obviously, if Arsenal carry on stuttering and shipping sort of goals at the back, then they're not. So I think I think they'll give him an opportunity. In the meantime, I'm sure behind the scenes they're having a look to see who is out there, who could manage a club the size of Arsenal with their huge expectations.
Yeah. It's true. Talking about Ollie, can you see Man United getting anything from the trip to the Etihad on Saturday?
Personally, I don't think so. But then, if United play as they did in that first half an hour against Tottenham, I think they give them a good game. Yeah. I think United's best strategy would be to attack. I don't think you want to sit back. So, I think they want to take the game to City because City are vulnerable at the back.
Yeah.
They conceded more goals than they normally do, but they are capable of scoring, and they, you got the De Bruyne's on song and Silva. I mean, they got so many players who can hurt you. But I think, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a very exciting game. I think a few weeks ago you might have said, well, City are going to win that one easily, but I think it'll be closer than some people think.
Okay. Now Marco Silva, the reports this morning is obviously he's going to get fired. Do you think he'll be in charge against Chelsea on Saturday?
Well, I mean, there isn't long to go, is there, between now and then? And I felt a bit sorry for him because I think the game that really did for him was the Norwich game, because ultimately, they were never going to get, on paper, they were never going to get anything at Leicester and against Liverpool. They're the two best teams in the league at the moment. They didn't go down without a fight. I think it's those home defeats that they've had against Sheffield United earlier in the season and Norwich that have really undermined the confidence there. I think he will go. I mean, unless some miracle. I think they'll be interesting to see whether players are still fighting for him, because Chelsea at home will be a tough game. Chelsea are strong away, as we know. Tammy Abraham's back. He was out for a week, injured. He's back now. Yeah. I think if they lose that and they lose badly, then I think if he doesn't go before, he'll certainly go soon after.
Are Watford in big trouble?
Yeah, definitely Watford are in big trouble. I mean, they find themselves at 7 points adrift, obviously managerless. As my brother is a Watford fan, and he would love Chris Hughton there. As you said, he's a good Championship manager. So I think but I think the problem is when you are at the bottom, who wants to go there? There's always people who want to go, but you need the right sort of manager who can get you out of a hole. If they wanted to try and recruit players in January, it would be tough when you're at the bottom, as we knew, as we found out last year. Players don't want to go to a team adrift at the bottom because not everybody is up for a relegation battle. So I think they had a bad night on Saturday. They were winning and comfortable at Southampton, but a couple of goals, and all of a sudden you look at the league table. They're rooted at the bottom. Southampton, as I said last week,
2 wins in a row.
2 wins in a row against teams at the bottom. Otherwise Hasenhüttl was lined up for the chop, but I think he's got a bit of a reprieve now. So, but I think Watford got a tough game against Palace. Palace are not the sort of team you want to play when you're struggling. They'll sit back, soak up pressure, and catch you on the break. I think that's a tough game for Watford.
All right. Now, Norwich, Sheffield United, both teams promoted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Norwich, put up a good show against Arsenal. Obviously, they lost last night. Again, Sheffield United, unbeaten since January away from home. I mean, they just work so hard. I think there will be goals in it, but and I think for Norwich to win that, they're going to have to really play well, and they've got to get Pukki on the ball a bit more, in dangerous areas. Scored last night, but he hadn't scored that many, in recent weeks. So I think that is a crucial game for Norwich. They picked up 1 or 2 points. They had a great win, as we know, at Everton, but they're still in the bottom 3.
Yeah, I just think they concede too many goals. The goals last night that Southampton scored were dreadful, but obviously set pieces, got to improve on them. Steve, last but not least, Brighton Wolves. How do you see that going?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, Brighton have played some nice football, but that doesn't always win you points. Yeah. Wolves, unbeaten since September. I mean, playing really well.
Good team,
I thought they fought well the other day, come back against Sheffield United. I think, a trip of playing on Europa League does catch up with them, but, they find themselves in 5th place. I think a lot of people thought after last season, when they did so well, that they'd struggle a bit this year. Well, they haven't. I think the fact that they've only lost 2 games and they were right at the beginning of the season, I think it's a testament to the way that Nuno has got that squad working hard. I think that'll be a close game. I don't think Brighton will win that, though. And I think Brighton, they play some nice football, but I think there is a danger of getting sucked back into it now, and they could find themselves not far off very close to the bottom 3 in the next week or 2.
All right, Steve, on to the Championship. You obviously watched the West Brom Preston. How bad was that penalty?
Well, it was hard. It was very hard. I mean, at the end of the day, West Brom were by far the best team. Preston sort of showed a bit more fight in the second half. But that seems to be happening at the top at the moment. Both Leeds and West Brom are finding ways to win. Leeds with a couple of late winners in the last 2 away games. West Brom, I think winning is a habit, isn't it? And they both got that. So...
Steve, Fulham's only 5 points off second place.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, we've obviously had 3 wins in a row. They both had 3 wins in a row. It's been, as I say, that last week was a good week for Fulham, West Brom and Leeds, to put those wins together. And conversely, Preston North End with 3 defeats in a row. Yeah. It just shows, it can make a huge difference. And, but I think that's
Will you beat Bristol?
Well, I would like to think we will. We've got a very poor record against them. They've beaten us the last 4 times they've come to Fulham. just one, and that's losing. And Lee Johnson, the Bristol City manager, is his family are big Fulham fans. So you'd think you'd have a little bit. I think it's going to depend on whether we get 1 or 2 players back from injury. Yeah. We've lost 1 or 2 recently, but we dug in and we didn't play particularly well at Swansea, but we did what we had to do. And if at the end of the day we can get Alexander Mitrovic in the right place and give him the service, then he'll score goals. I mean, 15 goals in 19 league games, 23 and 23 for club and country. Yeah. We've got to keep him fit, and if he scores the goals, we are going to be there or thereabouts, I think.
Sheffield Wednesday, Brentford.
Yeah, I mean, Brentford are playing some good football at the moment. They've lost a few away, but they go for it. Sheffield Wednesday, for me, are a fairly defensive team. I mean, I think they could hold Brentford, but I think it'd be fairly low scoring.
All right. Hull City versus Stoke. That seems an interesting clash.
Yeah, I mean, Stoke were a little bit disappointing the other day. I think Hull could win this again. If we talked about Jarrod Bowen. I mean, he's having a good season. If he scores, if they can get the ball to him in the right place, he'll score. I think Hull should just edge that.
All right. And QPR, you think they'll make it 4 in a row from our board Preston boys?
Well, but the QPR have actually lost 3 in a row themselves. Yeah. So it's. I think that, to me, that's got draw written all over it. And as we know, your P&E haven't been playing well away from home. Yeah. I think they need to bounce back, otherwise they're going to start sort of finding themselves sort of falling away again. It's I think it would be relatively low scoring, but QPR do concede, so I think Preston sort of have a go, and then obviously Preston have got Jordan Hugel up against them, which would be painful if he scores. But no, I think there'll be a close game. I don't think there'll be much in that.
Yeah, I just think Preston too many defensive injuries. And last but not least, West Brom, Swansea City.
Well, it's an odd because Swansea have fallen away, but they're unbeaten away from home. Yeah. It's at home where they've lost sort of 4 games. I guess if Fulham win, I'd like to see Swansea get a result because it gives us an opportunity to catch up with West Brom. I think they'll be close. I just think the way West Brom are playing, they've got a belief now that they can beat anybody, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do win that. Yeah,
very attacking. I like the way he played. Sat the ball. I think it's Livermore in the midfield and the rest bomb forward. Yeah. Yeah, no, they've got a good team. They've got some good young players as well. Yeah. I mean, they've, and he's got, he's a good manager, Slaven Bilic. He's got them playing some good football. And as I say, they're playing with the belief. When they came to Fulham earlier in the season, the first half, I thought they were very average. We really should have had a couple of goals, but the last sort of 10 minutes when they scored, they looked strong, and actually, they keep going and they grind teams down, and that's what you need in this division. You just got to, it's a lot of games, 46, and you got to keep going.
Steve, my English teacher told me never put the adjective very in front of average or moderate, just as a rule. As a rule.
This is true. He was very true.
She. Okay, Stevie, wonderful talking to you. I know you got the cold weather, and as a parting shot, there's 18 left and last one standing, of which you and I aren't, and there neither's Abood or true. Charlie or Derek Ramsey, my gang. If you were still in, who would you go for?
Oh, crikey. If I was using a team I hadn't used before...
Yes. Not easy.
Well, it is not easy, because I think, obviously, most of the big teams... Well, actually, I hadn't used Liverpool.
There you go.
I hadn't used Liverpool, so...
That'll stop him.
If I'd have got through before with Everton, I might have gone with Liverpool. So, although knowing my luck, I would have sort of jinxed them, as Michael Abood always seemed to think if I predict them to win, I'm jinxing them. So,
when are you going up to watch another game? When Fulham play Liverpool next season, you'll be going up with Abood.
It would be nice to think we do, or if maybe we get them in the FA Cup.
Yeah. So, Stevie, as always, thanks very much for your input.
Lovely, pleasure.
All the best.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers, Stevie. But let's talk football this weekend. Yeah. It's getting tough. Even Stevie touched on the guys, the last one standing, because they've used so many teams. Yeah. And it's Horn, Horn who hasn't used...
Dylan's got Man City to use.
Dylan's got Man City. Okay, let's talk about Everton. Everton last 2 games, they were stiff against Leicester. As Steve said, that they played the best 2 teams in the league. Who got the last goal last night?
Liverpool scored 5-2.
Yeah, no, it was 4-2.
Back and...
Can you remember who tucked it?
Well, Firmino cut it back. Was it Oxlade-Chamberlain?
I don't know.
It was like 12:30 at the time.
I watched the last 3 minutes. I went to bed at 4:02. Okay. Chelsea are playing well.
I think there are plenty of goals in that, Paul. You know,
Yeah, me too.
I think
Goals.
Silva will be in charge. Hopefully he doesn't get fired. I don't think he deserves to get fired.
No, I agree with you. He's overdue a little bit of luck.
Yeah, and hopefully this is a game, lunchtime kickoff. You know, I just worry about the back, you know, Holgate and Keane and Yerry Mina. They played 3 last night and the balls were going all over the place, Paul.
Yeah, he's trying to get players
He's trying to get it, he's desperate.
It
should be even money Chelsea, Paul, but as you say, needs a bit of luck.
Could this be the banana skin for Liverpool? Bournemouth, they've had a couple of bad defeats.
Paul, Bournemouth are 1-8.
That's what I'm saying. They're not that bad aside of home.
Yeah, it's just that, you know,
Bournemouth
a couple of years ago.
Harry Wilson, a good player, right?
Yeah, free kick specialist.
Told you, Budge. You want to play for England?
Harry,
your name's got to be Harry. Okay.
But
so
that's got to be Liverpool,
too good?
Paul, too good. Yeah,
I wouldn't take 4-10, let the record show.
Okay, Paul, but, you know, when last did they drop? The last points they dropped was at Old Trafford.
No disrespect.
But, Bournemouth, I don't see
Haven't they been lucky away from home?
Yeah, but yeah, that's
they're
part and parcel of being
part and parcel, but their luck could turn. We haven't got halfway in the league.
I think injuries are the biggest problem, especially to Van Dijk. You know, they'll be too good for Bournemouth.
I think Spurs will beat Burnley.
I think so,
we're better side, but they're a bit of a jinx side because they've got those 2 Tower of Brixtons up front.
Yeah, they're just conceding goals. They don't normally do that.
They're sinking fours and threes.
I think it was a wake-up call last night for Spurs. I think Mourinho got it. The players were, but they were terrible.
They didn't deserve it.
They were terrible. As a United man, I was happy, but Spurs were really disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. They've got the squad to go on. I think they'll beat Burnley.
Yeah, I think you'll beat them easily. Yeah.
Now, Watford, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, Budge, are a side that are very high up the log.
Yeah, but Paul, if they had 2 or 3 games where they got beaten home, otherwise they'd be even higher.
Yeah,
but local derby, Paul, this is a 1-2-3 game in exotics.
Who's coaching Watford?
Well, there's Hayden Mullins, the centre-half that played for West Ham. Caretaker. Got beat 2-0 by Leicester.
They weren't bad. Leicester struggled for a long time. I thought it was looking like a 0-0 draw. So give them some chance.
No, they've got a chance at home, Paul, but Palace are funny team.
Is Troy Deeney back?
He played last night, I saw him on the pitch.
He probably rusty, you know, but when they get going and Delafea and Troy Deeney and a few of those boys, Kapui, and who's the other good boy in the middle?
Decora.
Good player.
No, they've got players, Paul.
They've got players.
It's at the back. They've been terrible at the back.
Interesting game.
That's the interesting game, especially London. 2 London teams, but I like Palace of the 2 teams, Paul.
Now, Man United got a very good win last night. Now they go to Man City. Man City are 3-10.
Yeah, Paul. You know, I think we've got no chance. But you just have a look at the creative
it's 9-1 nearly. Man United.
I won't be taking it.
Where's Pogba?
He was in Miami 2 weeks ago. The guys are having a go at him. I think United want to sell him. They want to try and do a deal, get the 150 million in.
Will they get it anymore?
Well, there's always mugs out there, PSG. And we haven't played in the Champions League, Paul, which is another additive. So you add that, PSG, Juventus, Real Madrid.
Can you burgle a draw?
I don't see it. Well,
Man City are hot, but they're
good going forward. I think it's a high-scoring game.
Yeah, Rashford's on fire. He's the only one who really is on fire for
I thought
United.
The best thing we had last night was Martial never played. He's a sulker. That Mason Greenwood, at least he tries.
He has a go. He's a good player. And the Welshman's a flyer.
Yeah, he's a trade. He's better on the left than the right, Paul.
Yeah, he's a good player.
We've improved. Fred was the best he's ever been, but I don't see us getting close.
No, Aston Villa could have come back and grabbed Nicolaisen. Now they're at home to Leicester City. This should be a good game too.
This is goals galore here, Paul.
And this is on Sunday at 4.
This is Sunday 4 o'clock, Paul. So a great game to watch. This will be a cracker. Leicester have a go. Yeah. I like Grealish. This talks United winning.
Does he play for his country?
No, he's not in the squad. But he played because he plays for Aston Villa.
Yeah, but
Tim Sherwood was complaining about it because they had Mason Mount. They've had a few players, Madison. He'll come into it.
I would have said 4 games ago he's a better player than Ali at the moment. Ali's come back, but the boy who got dropped from United from the England squad in the middle, he could go into his place. Lingard. He could. To me, he'd go in ahead of Winks.
Oh, no doubt.
And
he's just an attacking player, though. So England are lacking in midfield players. He's got to come into it.
Got to come into the England squad. Okay, so
I think they'll score, Paul. But Leicester at the moment.
I'm going for the draw.
Yeah,
and I've been wrong
hard to beat Leicester, but 7 in a row.
Newcastle at home, Southampton. Be a good
game. Funny game this. Both really set up, defend first, and then worry about scoring later. Set piece game for me, Paul. Steve Bruce has got them well organised.
How was their third goal against Manchester City? Fantastic.
The Martian scored it, shall we?
The Martian.
She hit it well too.
Norwich, as they like to say, are under the cosh, but United have to lose their away record soon.
I thought they were going to lose it last week to Wolves. They should have. They should have had a red card. The guy came right across and fouled him. Yeah, they played last year. Yeah, I hope Norwich win this game, Paul. I like the manager. I like the club. But
Norwich,
I don't see...
Farke, here's a go.
I like Daniel Farke. I just don't see Sheffield United losing.
I hope for Farke's sake that they get it right. Okay, I think Brighton are going to get something out of this game at home. They've had too many little potholes.
Yeah, I don't see it, Paul.
You don't see it,
a good team. 18-10 is my best value bet of the week. Unbeaten
Wolves.
10. Paul, Brighton play good football, but they just seem to lack penetration. Yeah. And this Wolves team's well organised. Yeah, they gave a goal away last week early against Sheffield United. And after that, was one-way traffic. They should have won. And I think they'll beat Brighton. Yeah, Brighton is...
Is he Mexican, that striker?
Yeah,
he's a good player.
And they're a good team, Paul, playing well.
West Ham were in the game last night for a bit.
Yeah, it's a Monday game, so at least we've got something next Monday.
And it's a derby.
Local derby. You just can't be with Arsenal, Paul.
Okay, they're going to get through tonight. Who have they got tonight?
They're at home to Brighton. So that should be a threat.
All right, let's go to the Championship's looking good, but I actually pulled out the log just now and had a look at it. Yeah. You're 10th, 12th. You can still make the playoffs.
Well, Preston are 6th. We lose, we could go down to 12th.
Yeah, you can make the playoff. Yeah. Forest can get back in that scrum. I hope Stevie's team comes up naturally.
Fulham have got to come up automatic.
And it's a London club. If we ever get over there, Stevie can take us. Yeah. Okay, Millwall, Notts Forest. Forest are doing well.
Forest buried us last week. I thought there were certainties to beat Cardiff and they got beat.
They're 2-1.
Yeah, I don't know why, but Millwall don't get beat at home. They've lost one game all year.
We're Millwall.
QPR. Yeah, Millwall, you're right. Well, I think this has got a draw written all over it. But Millwall in the draw for me, yeah.
Okay, right. Huddersfield Town.
Well, Leeds have won their last 5. Huddersfield.
But as Steve said, late goals.
Always late goal. This is Yorkshire Derby. Yeah, this will be tight. Huddersfield don't score many goals. Okay. So it should be Leeds, Paul, but this will be a fiery. Want to have a bet? Back the red card.
Derby, I think, have dropped into the bottom half now. What are they, 14?
It's only at home where they've got a great record. Away from home, they're terrible. Blackburn have been in a roll lately.
And I
think they've won 4 of the last 5. I like Blackburn of the 2 teams. The only problem is that they concede goals, Blackburn. But should be Blackburn, Paul.
Cardiff, Barnsley, but I wanted to ask you, Barnsley beat Fulham initially.
Yeah, then they won last week. They beat Hull City 3-1. Right. They've got a new manager, as a German. But Cardiff went to Forest and won. Apparently was quite comfortable.
Who's taken over there?
It's the cancer guy, Neil Harris, from Cardiff City. Did a brilliant job. And they've won 3 of the 4 games. 8-10 looks a gift.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put a big ring around it. I need a couple of gifts.
City,
It's Christmas time. I'm going to remind you. Record that, boys. Okay, Fulham 7-10. Bristol
I like Fulham,
City.
but I think there'll be goals in this, Paul. But I didn't know that Bristol City had beat them the last 4 times they'd met.
And I didn't know. Stevie, that's why Stevie's a great punter. I didn't know that the manager's family support Fulham.
Yeah, Lee
Can't
Johnson,
they spark
Gary
his
Johnson,
Christmas?
Yeah. Bristol won well last week. They murdered Huddersfield, I think it was 5-2. I watched Fulham play Brentford. They took their goals well, but play Swansea. Swansea played well. They're unlucky, Swansea.
They were good. But, they were good. The one came off a rebound header, Mitrovic, then Mitrovic again.
But they've got a goal scorer, Paul.
Is he Premier League goal scorer?
Yeah, he played for Serbia in the World Cup. He's still in their team. He came from Newcastle.
He's a strong, old-fashioned. He didn't shine that much when they were in the Premier League.
No, but the team around him wasn't too good.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So he's a good player?
No, he's a good player, Paul.
Okay.
I think Fulham will win.
Hull City?
Paul, Hull was my value bet last week. They're invisible against Barnsley by all reports. Stoke got beat at home by Blackburn. They'd won their 2 previous. I think there's 24-10 the draw.
Stoke is 23rd in the log.
Yeah, but Michael O'Neill, the Northern Irish guy, he's taken over. They won 2 of the last 3.
Recently?
Before the internationals.
Okay.
And they won the first 2, then they went at home. They thought they were good things and got beat.
Yeah.
But Jared Bones is one of the best players in the league, Paul. But that's a game I'd look to avoid.
Okay. 1, 2, 3 Luton Town, Wigan.
I like Wigan of the 2. Luton got the worst
22nd playing 21st.
They got beat 7-0 by Brentford. They cost us a bet. We went both teams to score 7 goals in a game. 7-0. How's your luck?
Should have gone over 2.5.
Oh, I know. But I like Wigan. We actually went over 3.5. But Wigan in a draw for me there, Paul.
Middlesbrough, Charlton.
Yeah, I like Middlesbrough.
Haven't Spurs drawn Middlesbrough?
Have they in the Cup, FA Cup?
FA Cup drawn Middlesbrough up there.
But I like Middlesbrough, Paul. They've
Even
only won
money.
one of the last 9, Woodgate. But I've looked at the teams at home that they've played. Yeah, they drew with Preston. Yeah, they've played Fulham. They've played the top teams.
Yeah.
Great chance. Charlton are out of form. They got beat 3-1 last Saturday. It was on against Sheffield Wednesday. Great chance. I think these were the 2 guys that were involved in a bust-up years ago, Woodgate and Lee Boyer, when they're at Leeds.
They were
big mates.
There was some with the fray and all
correct.
that.
So they meet. I wonder what's going to happen in the tunnel before the game. But I like Middlesbrough.
They'll shake hands and move on. Okay. Then your North End.
Yeah, Paul, you know, I couldn't believe watching the first half, and I got hold of my 2 mates. I said, what the hell's going on? He said, decimated with injuries. And our captain's a midfield player playing right back. The right back's playing centre half. I said, Paul, we should have got beat 3 or 4-0 by West Brom. I don't see us winning at QPR. If we get a draw,
2-1, eh?
2-1, I wouldn't be taking
Reading,
Preston.
Birmingham City.
Yeah, I like Reading here, Paul. Yeah, the only team that's beat them at home lately has been Leeds, and they scored late. Mark Bowen's been there, done a good job. Birmingham are a funny team. They've just announced their caretaker manager, Pep Clotet, as the manager. It's amazing. Once you give the guy the job, things go pear-shaped. Terrible away record, Birmingham. I like Reading.
Sheffield Wednesday, Brentford.
Yeah, I like Brentford, the 2 teams, Paul. But they're, you know, a tight game. They're both going well, these teams. Both in that relegation mix just behind them.
Yeah.
Brentford in a draw for me there, Paul.
Can Swansea get anything from West Brom?
I think the only thing they'll win will be the toss, Paul. But
Is that
that's,
all,
yeah, 6-10. But I think there'll be goals in that. I was impressed the way Swansea played. They're unbeaten in the last 11 away from home. But they played good football. They played well against Fulham. I know they got beat 2-1, but they didn't deserve to lose.
Yeah.
But West Brom are a good team. You know, they've got experienced players, good manager. Their goalkeeper's superb, Sam Johnson. It should be West Brom all day, yeah.
Let's talk local.
Yeah.
But tell me your thoughts on Super
Yeah,
Sport
Super
United.
Sport, you know,
Highlands
disappointed. They drew with Stellenbosch at home. Highlands, since they got beaten the Telkom knockout, have gone missing. I think 2-1 the draw's a player, but Super Sport at home, don't get beat at home too often, Paul. Friday night game, though.
Baraka?
Yeah, I like Pirates. I watched Pirates the other day. They played Polokwane. There's only a couple of points. Player got sent off, Lorch. I think there's goals in this.
Lorch, the international.
Yeah, good player. They clashed heads. They both went down like they'd been shot. But I like Pirates.
So would you take 9-10 Pirates?
Yes, but I went 16-10 over 2.5 goals because the way Pirates defend, they can't, and they attack. Should be a good game, that, Paul.
Black Leopards, I am a Zulu.
Yeah, I like Black Leopards. The only team that's beat them at home in the last 4 has been Sundowns. Sundowns beat them 2-1. I'm a Zulu. They've got to pick up. They drew with Maritzburg. Away from home, they've only won 1. I think they've only beat Baraka in like the last 14 away from home. Big game for Black Leopards. They've got to win this to really move away from the relegation zone.
Cape Town City plays Chipper.
Yeah,
Cape Town a long way down at 11.
Yeah, I think they've won 1 and 10. You know, Chipper, they've come right. The last 3 games, they've won 2 and drawn 1. That's got a draw written all over it, Paul, 2-1.
But Kaiser Chiefs are playing in Durban.
Yeah.
They're playing Bloem Celtic. Now, my whole gang are going to watch it. They jump in my headman's car. Yeah. Byron, you know Byron?
Yeah.
Takes his son. His son's football mad.
Okay.
And I asked him, what do you pay to go watch a game like that? 15 or 20 rand. You got a ticket. That's
well, you want to fill the stadium.
Yeah, that's
it costs people money to get there, Paul.
Correct.
So
that's
why
right.
charge
Why not?
them?
Yeah. So they'll have their big crowd.
Oh, they'll be full house, Paul.
But
well,
imagine
40,
there'll be Lefty Racing Stable. There'll be Andre Nell's Racing Stable.
No, they'll all be there.
Byron and his son. Well done to them. And Chiefs will win?
I think so, Paul. 9-10. They were 11-10 during the week. I looked at making my best bet, but the last time I went for them, they cost us against Maritzburg.
Don't be superstitious.
I know, but Bloem Celtic are 5th. They've only lost 1, I think, the last 7 or 8 games.
So that's Saturday at 8:15, eh?
Yeah, but I've got a fancy Chiefs.
And then Polokwane against Maritzburg.
Oh, Polokwane lost the last 7. Obviously can't buy a result. And Maritzburg playing the cup final next weekend in Durban. They play Sundowns. So, you know, is he going to play his best team? I think he's got to play his best team.
Yes.
Get into a rhythm. I don't see Maritzburg losing, Paul. Win and draw Maritzburg for me there, even though Polokwane...
All right, let's hit those soccer 6s, 10s and 13s. Give me your thoughts here, please, Budge.
Yep, the first one, I bank it, to keep you happy, I bank it Tottenham to beat Burnley, which I think they will do.
Great bet.
I've gone the field in the London derby, Watford, Crystal Palace. I've gone Blackburn, win and draw at home against Derby. I've gone the field in Sheffield Wednesday, Brentford clash. I've gone Fulham, win and draw at home against Bristol City because I think Man City will steamroll Man United 2-1-6.
I really like that bet. What's it, 2-1-6?
2-1-6,
What could something like it pay, Budge?
Well, hopefully it doesn't pay because United don't get beat. Paul, yeah, 700-800 rand if you get,
your
just
loyalty
depends on
will
the
cost
results.
you money.
Yep.
Be objective, not loyal.
Yeah, it's true. Under the other soccer 6, that's the South African with a couple of English games thrown in. I've gone the field in the Black Leopards, I'm a Zulu match. I've gone Pirates win and draw at Barocca. I've banked Liverpool to beat Bournemouth. I've gone the field in the Cape Town City Chipper United game. I've banked Man City to beat Man United. And because we can spend 200 Rand, I've thrown the draw in with Kaiser Chiefs.
But I'd have one difference, just my theme there. I would bank Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I'd throw in Bournemouth for the draw as well.
So Stevie B's tipped them. Just don't see it the way both teams
Stevie
are playing.
B's going to jinx him. Right, let's go to the 10, Budge.
Yep. Yeah, I've gone Black Leopards win and draw at home against Amazulu. I've gone Orlando Pirates win and draw at Barocca. I've banked Liverpool to beat Bournemouth, Tottenham to beat Burnley. I've gone the field in the Watford Crystal Palace fixture. Second page, I've gone Blackburn win and draw at home against Derby. I've gone the field in the Sheffield Wednesday Brentford game. Cape Town City win and draw at home against Chipper United. And I've ended up with two bankers. Man City to beat Man United. Kaiser Chiefs to beat
288.
288, yeah.
The big one?
Soccer 13. Yep, 6 bankers this week. I've gone Man City to beat Man United. Liverpool to win at Bournemouth. I've banked Tottenham to be too good at home for Burnley.
Well done, Budge.
I've gone the field in the Watford Crystal Palace encounter. I've gone Blackburn win and draw at home against Derby County. I've banked Cardiff City to beat Barnsley. Fulham to win at home against Bristol City.
Fulham.
Our second page, I've gone Hull City win and draw against Stoke City. I've sided with Wigan Athletic to win a draw at Luton Town. I've gone QPR win and draw at home against Preston North End. I've gone Reading win and draw at home against Birmingham City. Sided with Brentford to get a good result at Sheffield Wednesday, win or draw. And I've banked in Middlesbrough to beat Charlton, 326.
Excellent. Budge, give me your thoughts here.
Yeah, Paul, to be a little bit adventurous, I think Wolves will beat Brighton. I've gone Cardiff City and Sheffield United to win or draw. Cardiff City at Watford and Sheffield United at
You
Norwich.
got Crystal Palace there.
Sorry, Crystal Palace, yeah. Crystal Palace to win or draw at Watford. My apologies.
So Crystal Palace, you've gone for the
And
away.
Crystal Palace win and draw, and Sheffield United win or draw.
And then Man City.
And then I've got Man City to beat Man United and over 3.5 total goals.
Okay, you're pushing the envelope.
3,200.
Well done.
Yep.
The goals quartet.
Yeah, I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Everton-Chelsea game, Tottenham-Burnley, and I've gone over 3.5 in the Bournemouth-Liverpool and Aston Villa-Leicester games, Paul. 14-1, 2,900.
Over 3.5. Are you hoping for a big
Paul,
weekend?
it was 4-10.
No,
over
sure.
2.5, so we've got to
have a go.
Onto the championship, I've gone Cardiff to beat Barnsley. I've gone Middlesbrough to beat Charlton. I've gone West Brom to beat Swansea and both teams to score. And I've gone both teams to score in the Luton Town Wigan clash. 3,100.
Right, the local quartet?
Yeah, you know, there weren't many games because Sundowns and Wits are playing in the CAF game. So I've gone Black Leopards to beat Amazulu at home. I've gone Kaiser Chiefs to beat Bloem Celtic. I've gone Maritzburg United win or draw at Polokwane, and I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Barocca versus Orlando Pirates match.
Okie dokie, and then the Spanish omelette?
Onto the omelette, yeah, it's a treble this week. I've gone Getafe to win at Eibar. I think Sevilla will be too good at Osasuna. And I've gone Valencia to beat Levante and over 1.5 goals. Local derby, tight game. 15-1.
The Collis King out the park
Collis
stuff.
King, I've gone Leicester to beat Aston Villa.
Yeah.
I've gone Man City to beat Man United. I've gone Cardiff City to beat Barnsley. West Brom to beat Swansea. Barcelona to beat Real Mallorca. And Sevilla to beat Osasuna.
Right, Budge.
My best bet, Sevilla, Paul. I watched them the other day. They've come right. They won 5, drawn 2 of their last 7 league games. Playing an Osasuna
Are they a good
team.
side?
Yeah, they're a good team, Paul. I think they're third in the league, only a point behind, even though they have played a game extra because the Barcelona-Real Madrid game got postponed. But they're a good team. They've come right, good players, and I think they'll be too good. 12-10 away
Value
from
bet
home.
18-10
I
this
think
week.
it's Wolves, Paul. You know, they're a good team. Brighton play Arsenal tonight. I just like what I see with Wolves. It'll be a tight game.
They say that manager could be going Arsenal's way.
Paul, he was at Valencia. He was at Porto. A lot of experience. But he's got something going. There's a Portuguese connection there at Wolves.
He realises he's best players, and he's got Mexicans, Portuguese.
No, he's a clever manager.
They score goals.
I wouldn't take the Arsenal job unless they offered me a fortune.
Yeah, me too. He's got a big ground there at the Molineux.
Yeah, and they've got Chinese owners there. They've got a lot of money. So why would you go somewhere where you're going to be under pressure?
Yeah.
You hear what the press are having to go already at Mourinho. You know, they had a go at Solskjaer. You're going to get 5, lose the next 2 games. They're just there to upset the apple cart. Yeah. I wouldn't take the Arsenal job.
No, I wouldn't either. Been a Spurs man. But anyway, don't forget, there's 18 of you left in last one standing from 34 last week. I know it's getting tougher each week. I'm tipping single figures this week. And who's it? Dylan Horn.
Dylan Horn's still the favourite.
Dylan Horn's still the favourite. Until next time, stay on side.